All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Cut to Chase Sports Podcast. We're bringing unique insight and analysis, covering your favorite sports at the collegiate and professional levels. I am your host Chase Yantz. I got my guy Ben Connors in here. Ben, what's going on?
Not much, Chase. Just having a good day. How you guys doing?
Doing all right, doing good. And then we got a special guest in here today. Taking some time out of his day. The IUPUI men's head men's basketball coach Matt Crenshaw joins us. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Chase. And Ben, thank you guys for having me and look forward to having this conversation.
For sure, for sure, and we appreciate you coming on. And we were just talking about this right before we pressed the live button. But yeah, we were talking about you being in the over in the Navy for 6 years and all that stuff. But yes, thank you for your service and everything. And I actually have my mom was in the Navy. I know Ben. You said your grandpa was in the Navy. I also got a friend who's in the Navy as well, and he also wanted me to ask you this question: what was your job? Like, what was like one of your designated jobs in the Navy while you're there?
Yeah. So when I first, signed up for the Navy, I was going into like a 2-year program. Thought I was going to go in and kind of use that money to pay for school and then separate. And then, obviously things change. Get married, have some children,
Yep.
and then you think, hey, I'm gonna make this a career. And so that's kind of my military, career kind of trajectory changed for me. And I ended up becoming what's called a boatswain's mate, made the rank of E5. And, that was the rank that I made. I wore the E4 and kind of got out before I got to, wear the E5. And, great time, a lot of great friends. And, as I was sharing with you guys, I think it's the best team in the world. I had a chance to be a part of that. The military, all the branches are, special, and it's great sacrifice that that comes with it.
Couldn't agree more with that. Like obviously we all have ties to the military and stuff like that, whether it be family members or friends, relatives, and all that stuff. And just knowing that we have another good person on our side and all that stuff when it comes to that being on the greatest team in the world, it's really good to hear and all that. Where were you stationed at, by the way?
Stationed in obviously did boot camp in Chicago, Great Lakes,
Okay.
and then went to Alameda. It's right outside of Oakland. It was a base there, right there at Alameda. I was on a ship, USS Kansas City. It was like an oil replenisher ship. It was actually kind of where it was getting ready to be phased out. And later they retired it probably a year after I was there. And then I was stationed back on the East Coast in Virginia, in Williamsburg, Virginia, and kind of ducked off kind of base. A lot of people pass it daily, don't know. But, we worked with the Marines and different things with on our base. Our main job was off of the base. We'd have to fly and kind of help do some things when we would go out. And then I was in Washington, finished up in Washington, D.C. And then, my journey to IUPUI. But it was unique for me because, I came from a family of growing up. My dad was in the Army. Stepfather was in the Army. My mom was in the Army for a couple of years before she became a nurse. And then uncles as well were in the Army. So everybody thought I'd go to the Army. I wanted to try something different. And it was kind of leaning between the Air Force and the Navy. And obviously I chose the Navy, the best one.
Oh yeah, that's awesome to hear, though, Coach. It is. Ben, you got anything to say about the Navy? Anything?
I'm definitely with you on the best one, Coach, and just thank you for your service. It does not go unnoticed.
Well, thanks. More than welcome. I was glad I was actually able to do it. I think you learn a lot, and you get to experience it. And as we was talking off air, just it's a lot of countries that once you kind of turn 18, 19, you have to go in and serve for like 18 months, 19 months. I think the military is obviously great, and it could change, I think, a lot of young men's trajectory in life. If they just were able to get some of that discipline, structure, and just see something different, and see that the world's bigger than what they're used to or accustomed to. And it could people being better obviously makes the city, town, the world a better place.
Amen to that. Amen.
Yes, sir. Very true with that. So now we're gonna kind of shift gears. We're gonna go, back to your childhood and all that. So you were from Charlottesville, right? Charlottesville, Virginia.
Yeah. Born there, and then, with my my mom and, stepfather being in the Army, moved around a little bit, but, Virginia's home for me. And high school, went to Texas for a few years, and then finished back up school in the Virginia area, high school in Virginia area.
Okay. I know the University of Virginia is in Charlottesville, I believe, right?
Correct.
Okay. I thought I got that right. But what was it like growing up and all that? I know you mentioned you were in a military family and all that, so you're kind of moving around a little bit and all that stuff. But you did say Charlottesville, Virginia is home. But how did you get into hoops when you were younger? Like, how did that journey kind of start?
Well, I was the youngest brother at the time, the baby of the time of kind of all the cousins, and my brother's like four years older than me, 4 and a little bit. So, the little brother always wants to tag along.
Mm-hmm.
And what, I always tell people, honestly, basketball was my third sport. Honestly, I loved football, and I still do, but that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to the aspirations, if people write it down and what you want to do, it was to play in the NFL, and that was me. And then baseball, and then came basketball, and when it's growing up, that was just kind of something to do in between those two, to fill the winter, really, more than anything. I didn't really start studying it. I mean, obviously I played in high school, and I had some success, but I didn't really study it, watch the game, really work out all those extra things until really when I got into the Navy, the military.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know, like, it's kind of weird how some of that stuff works, though. You think about it, like, you might, like, you're playing a sport, like, you playing 3 sports and all that stuff. I played football, basketball, baseball growing up too, and I didn't say this, that I still love football more, like just watching it and all that stuff. But like, it is kind of crazy how all that can kind of go, and you're like, oh, I'm playing basketball in college, or oh, I'm like, like it's kind of weird how all thing can just kind of go together, and then you're like, wow, I didn't really expect that to happen all that couple years down the road.
No, I mean, that's it. If you would have asked me, I mean, even within the military, we would play against other bases, and we'd play like, kind of flag football, and they had some other things. And even when I was in, I was still reaching out, or people on my behalf were reaching out to colleges for football, because that was something that I was extremely passionate about. And, obviously I would be in the gym and I would play basketball, but, it was a love there for football. But, it's basketball, I guess, was my journey, my path. But like my sons, both of them, played collegiately. One's playing it, and then the other one played collegiately football. So
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. So football runs through and all that stuff, but the heart and mindset is basketball right now, from what it seems like.
Yep.
And then Ben's got a couple questions about IUPUI and all that, and just your kind of journey and run and all that. So Ben, You got the floor here.
So, Coach, I got here a few years ago, and when I started, looking into the team, I looked into their history, and your name is impossible not to see many times throughout it. So, my question is, in 2003, the shot, I've watched a few videos of it, and it looked amazing. I want to know what you were thinking, especially coming down the court. I know you gave a little brief about it in an article I read, but I want to know everything that was going through your mind that time.
Well, what I'd have to tell you is I had to take you back to the beginning of that day. We were playing, obviously, Valparaiso. That morning, I had been dealing with some injuries, strained tendons in my wrist, both wrists. And so I would have to get up in the ice and do those things. So that, usually I'd get up in the mornings and go down so I wouldn't wake up my roommate, etc. And so I would go down, and I was down at, kind of the breakfast area, and it was early. Guys were still asleep. And me and Coach Scott Drew, who now is the Baylor head coach. And we ended up sitting at the table together and, just talking. And, it was just different there. We got to talk your competitors, but obviously, respect one another. And, just talking. And obviously he was just talking about, hey, like my guys will be asleep, and, just the maturity and, just those things. He respected that. And then, we shared some words and wished each other good luck. And, I think we end up having breakfast, team everything. And it comes up to at some point where, hey man, if the game's close, Odell Bradley's like, man, I'm shooting it, just get me the ball. And I said, hey, if it's close, I'm not passing it. I'm going to win the game. I'm going to win the game. Because, for me, I was kind of the playmaker, when they used to say Madden, they used to call me the playmaker or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I used to kind of just get everybody involved and, kind of sacrifice my game because it was more about winning and us winning than me. And so I was fine with that. But that literally I said, hey, if it's close, I'm going to win this game, or I'm going to take the shot. And, that's probably pregame meal. And, we go back, do your normal routine, whatever you do. And I had this kind of calmness, that day, and usually in those kind of big moments, my father had passed, and I had, it's my grandmother and people that were really close to me. I always just kind of lean on faith and prayer, kind of before I got to do something really big, or I feel a little anxiety or something like that. So obviously, I kind of prayed and did my normal deal, and I was at extreme peace that day. And then we go to the game, and it's, it happens, and then we get to that moment, and me and Coach Price, one of the assistant coaches. I think one game, I was talking about I was injured, and I think I ran over somebody, when I was hurt, and he's like, man, you got to start shooting pull-ups a little more, shoot more jumpers. You got the injuries, you can't take any more falls. And so we had been working on that probably the last 10 days, every day after practice, before practice, or something like that. And so as I'm going through the game, I just that was really the play. Coach Hunter was like in the huddle, Grant, come off, make a play. If they help, we had shooters, but really that was the play. I'm just thinking coming down, and I'm trying to time up the time. Coming up slow, kind of relaxed. I didn't speed it up, and I tried to end it where I would take the shot. We either go to overtime, but I felt like I was going to make the shot, and trying to get it to where there was no time left on the clock, and just kind of come off, make a move, and hit that jumper that we had been working on, and it kind of goes through the net, and I see time still on the clock, so I'm still relaxed. People are going crazy, and it was great. Especially for the teammates, we had put in so much work, and the university, but everybody was hyped, and I was kind of calm because I felt like we were going to win, and if that situation arose, I was prepared for it.
I had read a bit about that, and I really like what you said about being at peace. And I remember looking back at the video, the celebration, to say the least, especially with Ron Hunter, was exquisite and was awesome.
Right.
So I love that you were at peace, and Ron Hunter and all of them in a different way. Everybody's celebrating in their own way. So I just think that is amazing. As you could definitely make a claim that's IUPUI's best moment right now. So I love going back and watching it. And I hope that we get back to there someday.
No, that's the goal. I mean, despite last year or even last year, that's the goal for me. Anytime you go out and coach, it's to compete and to win. Obviously that's what college athletics is about. Obviously it's deeper for me with other things as far as, developing young men and ensuring that they get their degrees first and foremost. And, putting them in positions to be successful after college and life after basketball. Those would be my priorities. But from the outside or from a fan/administrative standpoint, it's about winning. And so, when you get to it, I'm a competitor and we want to win. And winning is, I'm not going to say it's everything, but it's very important. It's very important. And if you can do those other things of development and add growth to these young men, ensure that they're properly ready for life after college, then it becomes winning, and that's you know, nothing else short. That's why we coach. That's why, you go through these hard summers. You go through all that hard work to put yourself in position to have those kind of moments. Whether it's, the coach sliding and tearing up his suit or your team going crazy, but, really just, being able to show that your true, and others get to show their spirit and love for their university.
Amen to that, Coach. And along with that, I had one more part to the question. You've seen everything from the beginning of the D1 for IUPUI till now. You've been a player their inaugural year to the coach, 20, 21 years later. What would be the biggest change you've seen, whether it's administrative or inside? Just is there one big thing you've noticed that you're just like, wow, that has been a huge change, besides just the jerseys and stuff like that?
Dang, you took my answer. Nah. Well, I'll say this: I wasn't with the first team that went Division One, but I was with the team that was the first team eligible to participate in the NCAA tournament. After when you shift from D2 to D1, you have a probationary period. So, but I just say, it wouldn't just be with the administration. I think it's the university more than anything. I've had teammates that were here in 2000, in 2002, 2003, and they hadn't been back, to Indianapolis maybe in 15, 20 years. And I think coming back and seeing the growth of campus, how things are, the buildings, just the overall growth of the university, those changing and transforming, and then with us going to play in the Coliseum, Indiana Farmers Coliseum, that venue would be the two kind of shifts. It's great. It kind of taken away our home advantage that we had at the Jungle, because obviously when I played and then years after, it would be standing room only at times. And really packed in, and you feel like you had that home advantage, and we all played sports, and anytime you get that extra push from your crowd, sometimes you're down, it can put you over the top to get back in the game, or when you're winning the game, it can put you in that position sometimes to end the game. So those would be really more so the campus life, the facilities on campus, just the growth within campus itself, the student center. So much of campus has changed and blossomed, and we're still growing as a university. And, hopefully at some point, we're able to add some more things, from an athletic standpoint on campus that can continue the growth. I think that's obviously the next step, for us at time. But, those things take money and more than anything. And, coming off of COVID, a lot of people have, there's a lot of people maybe lost jobs and just different things that have happened financially. So I think it's hard to justify certain things. But at some point, once we do that, I think that'll be the next step in the growth that'll take us even to a different place within college basketball, just because of the city of Indianapolis and all the great things that you get attending IUPUI from the academics, and you kind of get the best of both worlds.
Thank you, Coach. That was, from everything I've heard from people that used to go to IUPUI, they also said the buildings is definitely hard to miss, because it went from, I think, 3 buildings to, it's huge now. So
right.
I really appreciate that. And I know Chase has a couple of questions for you too.
Yeah. So right after you were done playing college basketball and stuff, I did see that you played a little bit of basketball overseas and all that. I think you did play.
Yes.
What was it over in what country was it? Slovenia, maybe? Was it Slovenia?
I played in Poland first, and
Okay.
then I went to Slovakia, and I was kind of playing in the ABA, just getting ready to go back and face some injuries. And it was different for me because I had life prior to attending college, where I had children, and you had to make a decision, and I was a little older, so it was like, try to figure it out. And so in between that time, I ended up being a probation officer, and and then, a position, and I was kind of volunteering and coming around practice. And, I knew I wanted to coach since 10th grade. High school coaches, it was just different. Billy Gillespie, who's now, college coach. He's coached all over Texas A&M, UTEP,
Yep.
Kentucky. Great coach, and one a mentor to me. But kind of just, it was kind of a coach that was hard on us, but you could tell it was about us learning discipline and dedication. And if you weren't mentally tough, you would have been weeded out. But it helped me get through a lot of things when I would look back on some things. And then also I was times where things may be going tough. You could go sit in his office, may talk, may not. So I've known since then I wanted to coach, and obviously going to play college basketball. I figured I'd join and coach that, coach basketball at some level. And had I done something else, it may be football. But college basketball was my route, and I was coming around practice a lot. And then a position opened up, director of operations, and kind of went from, low man on a totem pole at times and just worked your way up.
That's true. That's true. So you said you were an assistant at IUPUI from 2006 to 2011, and then associate head coach from 11 to 18. Is that correct?
That sounds about right. I don't,
Some of these might run together, though. I will say.
Yeah, for me, I'm not one of those that get caught up in titles. Even now, it's part of the program for I think 12 years or something to that effect. And so yeah, I think that those numbers are right.
Okay. And so I did see that before you came back to IUPUI to be the head coach, you were at Ball State for a few years over in Muncie. That's like 45 minutes from where I go to college. But with you being around IUPUI like for years before, like in the Horizon League and the MAC, like did you see any like differences between the conferences? I know you didn't play in the MAC or anything like that, or even back then you were in the Summit League or what it was. Yeah, but like so, like, did you see any differences when you were coaching and all that stuff of like how teams would play and all that? I know we don't want to get into strategies and all that stuff, but
no, honestly, everybody thinks the game is so secret. It's like everybody kind of does. It's a copycat. Maybe you tweak one thing or another, but a lot of times everybody's seen something. Like Duke runs a play. A lot of people call it Duke. Some people call it Gonzaga. A lot of people run it. So, that's just all sports. Or copycat at league, But what I'd say the main difference to me would be the MAC has probably bigger, more physical frontline players or centers.
Okay.
But everywhere else, the guards, all that guard play is very similar. I would think it's just a little more physical because of the bigger guys inside.
Okay.
But other than that, very comparable leagues. MAC was a good league, and the Horizon League is a great league. I think it was maybe underrated at times, but it's obviously if you think about it, when Butler went to those Final Fours, they were in the Horizon League.
That's true.
So it's a quality league. Obviously you had some coaching, kind of new coaches, myself and Green Bay, and now with Milwaukee. So you've kind of had a little bit of turnover, but those other programs that have coaches been there 4 or 5 years, really good programs, and and we're gonna do everything we can to get to those levels of how they're running their programs and how they're winning.
Okay. And before I throw it back over to Ben, I just wanted to ask, I know with you, 2021 being your first year, like you weren't, I mean, there were like some crowds that were able to come back out and stuff like that. But like over the years, what was like some of your favorite places to kind of coach at and see like other teams' crowds? I know obviously you're going to go with IUPUI, stuff like that, but like just like other away teams,
honestly, Ohio State was this past year was a fun crowd. The student section was hilarious. Just funny, it was them, obviously, you get to play in Hinkle Fieldhouse, you played Butler. Who else would have been a great crowd? I think Wright State at Wright State, I think was a good crowd, and obviously competitive game, and but I think I can't remember. I think Evansville had some excitement, but like you said, it was different because of a little bit of COVID and some of those restrictions at certain places. So I think it was up and down, because sometimes you may get some crowds in conference, and then sometimes it wouldn't be as it normally would be. So I think that's what everybody in college, for the most part, in mid-major or certain places are facing. That's one thing for us. We want to get people back out. Want people to be excited about what we're going to do, but at the same time, it's when you have a crowd, you have people supporting you, it helps you win. And so it's a partnership. We want to get our students, we want to get our alumni, we want to get people from the city of Indianapolis to come out and root us on. We're going to put out a product. It's a tough year at times, but injuries. But the biggest thing that we had those 5 guys, and I wish 5 guys would have sponsored us or something. But at the end of the year, we only had 5 players, and it's a time from like January, end of January, we had 7, and you go from 7 players. You can't really practice. Not really. You can't practice. You have your coaches out there kind of simulating the other team. They're not being put in their best position, to where they could come out and be at their best. But those, guys really fought through. They competed. They played hard, and they played for one another. So, that's really the biggest thing. You're going to get a team, any team that, as my coaching style, my philosophy, as we run the program, a defensive-oriented team. But if we can reciprocate that effort on a night in and night out basis that group played with, those 5, 6, 7 guys played with, I think it's great things to come.
Defensive nature is number 1 from the 2004 Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, I like it.
Done your research.
Yeah, a little bit of research. I have done the research, though. Trust me. Ben, you got it. You got it, Ben.
Coach, that was the question I was going to ask. And I was going to say, too, for anybody watching, until about 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left in the conference game this year, we were right in there with 5 players. And I looked into it. I think that's only happened once in NCAA Division I history, where a team only had 5 players to go in a conference game. You hinted at it and spoke on it a little bit. But I was going to ask you, is there anything when it's something you have no way to base it off of? It's not like anyone's done this before. It's not like, there's any team you can correlate this with. What do you say when it's a brand new adversity on that level too, on a conference D1 game? What do you say? Because we were right. I mean, the heart was there the whole game, and it was amazing. That's my favorite game of the year. Was there any time where you just thought of something you're like, I have to just say the perfect thing in the scenario?
You know what? Honestly, those young men really embraced it, because that's just what we've talked about, injuries, adversity. That's one of the things that, I hit on early as you talk about within a program. Within a team, there's adversity. Within a game, there's adversity. There's ups and downs. So you have to be able to, to be, calm, cool, collective, as we'd say. But really, and this is obviously something that I'll be saying again to the team. Like the depths of our struggles last year determines the heights of our success moving forward. People may say we struggled, and for us, now we're going to show them how successful we can be as how we go approach it. And going back to last year, like I said, those guys, they give you, as a coach, they make you proud because, some of them were hurt, like as Nate McClure played a couple games, probably, passed the concussion test, but had a knot on his head and barely could move. In normal cases, he wouldn't have played. Mike DePersia played hurt with an ankle injury that's lingering. Bakari Lestrade played, but had some ankle injuries, and then ended up getting hurt later the last game of the season. So our center, Chuk Sisatua, ended up having to have surgery at the end of the year, and then which we didn't find out until after spring break. Boston Stanton played the whole year with the broken wrist, and he had to have surgery. He just had some pain. He had broke his wrist before, and he thought it was just some tendonitis or some pain. And he was, shooting at home over spring break and trying to work out, and he still felt some pain. And his father was just like, maybe let's go get it looked at. And they went. It was a different break, not the same place, total different place, a clear break, and we knew when he done it in practice. It was actually early in practice before games. So this young man played the whole year. So I just say, like I said, if you can get a team to, play as hard as those guys did and compete, mistakes are part of the game, right? And it's about how you approach it, how you compete, how you come together. And that was really one of the greatest things that you got to see from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, despite being, going into games shorthanded per se. They came prepared, they came together, and they played extremely hard. And so that's something that this next group is gonna have to live up to and exceed. Just playing hard, like you said. I didn't know if it ever happened where 5 guys played 40 minutes in a non-overtime game. I don't know. Maybe it has happened, but 5 guys play 40 minutes non-overtime. That's tough to do. And like you said, we were there. Obviously some miss 5-footers and some turnovers, but those are part of the game.
Well, that makes it even more incredible because Boston was drilling 3-pointers all season. He's my personal favorite. I did not know he was dealing with that all season. He didn't show it. And the second part to that, you might be able to see the future, because I was going to ask, what do we have to look forward to this next season? If you can give us any little insights or anything. Yeah.
Well, Chase touched on it. And, defensive team, I think, as you look at it, and I know we may get into this, but the NBA Finals, the number 1 and 2 defensive ranked teams are playing in the finals, despite all the offensive success that both of these teams have. They're the top defensively, about how they go about it. So that'd be our calling card, where we're going to hang our hats at. But we've added athleticism at every position. We've added, we'll be a much bigger team across the board. As you look at it, we'll be much more athletic team, and we've added skill at our wing positions, and just really excited and look forward to working with these young men. But each of them bring kind of something different, which is good. You got we have guys that can shoot it, score it, but we have guys that really score it well. We have guys that are athletic and can shoot it and defend, and so it's going to be great to actually have 10 guys to be able to practice. But even last summer, we never could go 4-on-4. We had injuries. So just to be able to, do 3-on-3, 4-on-4s, 5-on-5s, to be able to really, really teach in depth and help them, get better. It's going to be fun and exciting.
I'm looking forward to it, Coach. I'll be there.
So anytime you're welcome, like always, come by practice. It's open door, man. So if you want to come by summer workouts, practices, y'all more than welcome.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate that.
So for you guys have started summer workouts and all that stuff. How it's you said it's a grind, coach, and all that stuff, just night and night. I know we talked about off screen, like going to Indiana Fever game and all that stuff, and just kind of having it kind of being nice to just kind of relax and stuff like that at times. But How's that whole process like when it comes to the summer and the fall? And like, how does that whole process look before the season starts when it comes to like workouts,
Yeah.
going into like fall practice and all that? Because some people, they don't really know about all that because some of that stuff is kind of behind closed doors in a way.
Right. So, especially last year, it kind of hurt us a little bit for a couple of reasons. One, we had injuries or guys returning from injuries from the previous year. And then we didn't pick up two players until they didn't come to IUPUI until the end of August when school officially started. So you don't get that summer cohesiveness. So in the summer, you're able to put in some offensive things, some defensive schemes. You can put in all your terminology. Guys get comfortable playing 5-on-5 and actually playing with one another, and they get to learn each other's strengths, weaknesses, and just get a feel for each other. And so you kind of do that in the summer. It's kind of like practicing. We get 4 hours to spend with our guys. And they get 4 hours where they can lift weights, so a total of 8 hours. And for over 8 weeks, you get 8 weeks over the summer, and usually you want to have most of your team there. So if you add high school or transfer players, they usually won't get to your university till summer too. And so that's usually when our guys are coming in, like a week or two here. They'll be here, and we'll kind of go 8 weeks straight, where they work out, a couple times, 3-4 times a week on the court. We'll do some team stuff, and we'll do individual skill sessions where we can kind of sharpen the knife, as I like to say, kind of enhance their skill, and and then you get a chance to kind of build relationships when you're doing one-on-one, when you're talking, asking questions, they're asking you questions. That's just just being in the gym, the smell, the squeak of the shoes. If you're a hooper, you understand.
Exactly. Yep. It's a different feeling, and it's a feeling that, some of us would never change and all that. But yeah. And, we're kind of getting down to the end of the show and everything, but, coach did kind of, foreshadow this a little bit, talking about defense and, teams that are in the finals. So NBA finals, who do you got winning the series? I know you said you're going back and forth with the Celtics, between Celtics and Warriors, but, if you give us a pretty good pick or estimation, what do you got?
Well, it's kind of twofold. I did live close to Oakland when I was out there in the Navy, so hey, that's the Warriors. But then kind of a Kobe guy. Like I said, I was was growing up watching basketball, but when I was in the military, that's when I really tuned in, and Kobe was kind of in the league, or just getting in the league, and then taking off and hitting his peak. So kind of diehard Kobe guy, and Jason Tatum kind of has some Kobe-ness to him. So who do I pick? The team that wins 4 games first.
Okay. That's a smart answer, though. I will say, avoiding the spot. That's a very good answer, though.
Honestly, I think what happens maybe is the Warriors by experience only. Just if you look at game 2 and just how it got maybe a little physical, maybe refs missed, whatever. There were some things that happened, and the experienced team would have been able to maybe move on and put that to the side. And so I think when you have Draymond, Clay, Steph, Looney, those guys that experience playing in the finals, championships, those things, it's experience. A lot of times that overcomes, and they're talented. So the Boston has talent, and they, it's a great matchup. But I think experience maybe wins it out. But you can't be shocked because Boston has shown all year defensively, especially ever since they started playing together offensively and sharing the ball, and whatever they went through. And since January, they've shot up in efficiency and everything. So they've been playing, and then defensively they're right there at the top. So can't be surprised if they do it. The coach obviously has played. Coach Popovich worked in San Antonio and other places, and has that championship pedigree. And I'm sure that he's challenging those guys and, pushing all the right buttons, and they have a great staff and great leadership. But at the end of the day, the coaches, GMs, all those guys, they don't play. Yep. Players play, players make plays. So I probably, if I had to pick, it would be probably the Warriors, just because of experience, nothing else.
Yep. And that maybe all comes down to, with the amount of roller coasters that we've seen throughout the series when it comes to even just quarters. We're not even talking about entire games, just quarters. So, right. I mean, it'll be interesting to see for sure. How about game 3? I'll give you that. Who's going to win tonight? Putting you on the spot, Coach.
I think the crowd, the excitement, Celtics win.
Yeah.
Smart comes up big, makes big shots, and Tatum's going to make a winning type of assist that kind of changes the trajectory of a game. Somebody's going to make a big shot, and that kind of seals the deal.
I will say
that.
I will say Boston hasn't lost back-to-back games in the playoffs this year, which is it's something that you got to look out for. Very impressive, especially in this time. We're talking about in the finals. So. Right. I mean, you talk about they would even – they played the Heat and all that. They would come out and they beat the Heat by like 20-plus a couple of times after experiencing a loss in game 1, and I believe it was game 3, I believe. But yeah, that's something to keep an eye on for sure. But Coach, we really appreciate you coming on and taking time out of your day to just come on and talk some basketball life and everything.
No, more than glad to come on. I appreciate you guys for having me. Appreciate you guys, giving me the opportunity to talk about the program and IUPUI in general. Like I said, IUPUI is not just for me, but for those that are actually, on campus and been there. It's a great place. It's a special place. And, as we continue to move forward as a, basketball program in the university, it's going to be even better. And, just looking for people to come out and support us and look forward to connecting to the community and doing great things. Anybody knows me is bigger than hoops, and it's life after for these young men. It's a lot that goes into it. As a student athlete, there's a lot that goes into it. So it's our duty to ensure and help them that they can have some success off the court. So just really, really excited about continuing to rebuild the program and get it back into its rightful place.
Couldn't agree more. I definitely got to make a game or two while I'm in Indiana and all that. But Ben, you got any final words?
Coach, I say this all the time. It's a great day to be a Jaguar.
Yeah, that's right. Go Jags. Always a great day to be a Jag. And, just appreciate your support. And like I said, appreciate you guys having me anytime. Like I said, y'all, welcome to come to practices, and, love to be back to talk about the program after summer or as we get through summer workouts. Feel free to call on me. And, if we get into football, we definitely can talk about that.
We're going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about that.
I have 2 teams, and they're kind of the same family.
Okay.
It's the Ravens, which were the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, you said the Ravens?
Which were the Indianapolis Colts, right?
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Then the Colts are here.
Yep.
And then now, it was the Baltimore Colts. Now it's then the Indianapolis Colts, and then the Baltimore Ravens. So
I got you. Yep, that's true. That's true.
So I'm kind of like 2 families, but they're one. So, living in Indy and Indianapolis is great, great city, great state, great place. So, I do support, obviously those teams, but I'm a Ravens guy. So, look forward to us winning the Super Bowl this year.
Well, me and Ben are big Bengals fans and all that, and we got, yeah, we are. You didn't tell him?
Coach. All right, I think we've talked about it once before, Coach. But
we've talked about it.
But
I gotta find out some Bengals around here, but
it's.
I'm sorry, Coach. I had to.
I respect it. It's great that they've done well, and it's made our division tougher because before it was just us and Pittsburgh, and now we're getting those Ohio teams to play. So now it makes it tough. There was always competitive games within us, but outside the league it wasn't. And so now it's actually great. to see the success. I mean, they have a talented team. The receiving core that the Bengals have is good. You know, it's a formidable opponent. Tommy Strine, a guy on my staff, I swore he came in every week, every day with a different Bengals shirt, jersey. So I told him, you know, to enjoy it. And you caught us last year with some injuries, but hey, just like our team, injuries part of it. Now you bounce back and on to winning championships.
I like that.
We'll see how that goes. We will see how that. I am very glad to see though that the entire division is going to compete and all that. There's going to be some really good games, especially ours Week 5 Sunday Night Football. Can't wait for that one.
Yeah, we may have to catch a game over there. The Bengals games. I was talking to someone about maybe tickets or just trying to figure it out. So when the Ravens play the Bengals, we may have to make a trek over to Cincinnati, man.
Okay.
Hit me up and we can figure it out. Maybe have to go on over there.
That sounds good to us. And I'm always at Bengals games, so that's like a ritual for me. But we're definitely going to talk about Ravens football. And you might be one of the first, only Ravens fans I know personally. I know. That's just us in the Midwest. We don't really talk Ravens and all that stuff because we just don't like them. But
understandable.
I will say though, I look forward to no game more than the Ravens. So it's a love in a way. That's my favorite game every year.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
That's what happens. When you have a team and you want to get to where they're at, you set the bar so we can beat them, and you kind of make them your competitor, your competition or your rivalry type game. So, that's the thing that you love about the division. I mean, you got that. You guys have Cleveland, and then everybody. It's Pittsburgh. It's going to be tough. So, looking forward to the football season. Somewhat gives you that break on Sundays. Even though basketball is kind of year round, but you kind of get those breaks on Sundays. And what I will say is, going to that Bengals Ravens game this past year in Cincinnati, it was great. Obviously the game was whatever, but the fans were great, and the tailgate was awesome. We was with Bengals fans, and I had a great time. So I'd actually give you guys 2 thumbs up on that. How the fans conduct themselves, and the tailgate atmosphere, and just the interaction. Even though it was Ravens, I had Ravens gear. It was no, sometimes things get out of hand. It was great. Had a great time.
That makes me happy because they do get out of hand sometimes.
Sometimes they do. Yep. And everybody just tries to be the good fans, don't get in all that mess. But, we will definitely talk football another time. We appreciate you coming on the show, Coach. All the viewers will see you guys next week. So thank you for tuning in.
All right. Thank you, guys.